the reason it's called the GANNacci code is because I was always working on Fibonacci and GAN. I got turned on to them years ago, and I basically got very intrigued with the golden ratio and squaring price and time and all that sort of thing. A friend of mine made a joke, a comment, that, matter of fact, the one who actually turned me on to trading, basically called me Fibonacci because that's all I was doing and all I was talking about. And we came up with this name in a fun kind of way, and it kind of stuck. Okay, so that's why it's called the GANNacci code. It's both GAN and Fibonacci, and when you add the two together, they're extremely powerful. Okay. Now, how many of you in here before have used GAN or Fibonacci, or tried to? Any of you? Okay. What I'm going to do first is, because these are the only two things I've ever found to work in the markets, and I'm a lot like a lot of you, and just to give you some background here, a lot of you, I've done the exact same thing all of you have done, and that is you've gotten into trading, you've gotten into trading platforms and all this sort of thing, and everything you can online, and you've gotten into indicators. Well, if any of you have been around for any period of time, you've realized that this stuff doesn't work. Now, see, I was a financial analyst, okay, right here, for 12 years out of college. So I was quantifying numbers, turning them, mixing, matching them. I was working a lot with fund managers. I kind of was starting to get interested in training just through being around it, okay? So I'm a lot like you. I began to study everything and get into anything I possibly could, okay? And obviously none of that works. So a friend of mine turned me on to Elliott Wave, which Fibonacci is involved in that, and I studied Elliott a little bit, and that's obviously very complex and hard to use, okay? So what I did from there is, as I kept studying and working, I then came out here to Chicago to the Board of Trade to study with a professional, actually then picked up and moved my family out here, became a floor trader and a prop trader, okay? So I've been on the floor, I've been in prop rooms, actual guys that do it for a living, okay? And that's a big difference than you trading in your home office, okay? Big difference, okay? So I was fortunate to be around traders that actually did it every day on an ongoing basis, okay? Now, what I'm going to do here is, Barry, I'm having trouble with this pen here to get rid of it. Okay, no. How do I just get it back, Barry? Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to get... Okay, there we go. Now, for those of you that have read a little bit about GAN or Fibonacci and whatnot, basically this is what they're known for, and I'm going to just talk about them briefly. Fibonacci is known for this math sequence. You're basically going to take any number next to each other. You're going to add the previous number together to get the next number all the way out to infinity. You can basically take any of the numbers and divide them back and forth into each other, and you'll get what's called 0.618 or 1.618, which is known as the golden ratio, the golden mean, the golden section, the golden number. You find this in nature, in DNA patterns. It's just a part of us, okay? Now, what GAN's known for is square roots, price and time squaring, geometric angles, and time cycles, okay, which I'm gonna highlight on. Now, here's the two things that I find with GAN and Fibonacci, people that have done it or tried to do it before, okay? They don't know where to fib from, and they don't know what line it's going to stop on. Have any of you had that before or come across that before? I'm waiting on to see some of your answers or questions here. Okay. GAN's known for geometric angles. This is what people run into with GAN. Okay, these are the main two that I run into with people with Fibonacci. Okay, some people say it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's not. I'll prove it. Guys, I have taken this and gone back over 80 years of data by hand and tested it. I was a financial analyst. Okay, I'm later on going to show you an 80% edge of a target of when the market does this. Now, I'm not going to teach you how I enter and how I do it. You can figure that out on your own, but I'm going to give that to you free tonight. It's up to you to do whatever you want with it. You can take the time to go look for it and study it and practice it. It's completely up to you. But these are the things. Fibs, they don't know where to fib from. They don't know what line it's going to stop on. And when people get into GAN, they get into the GAN angles and GAN fans. Now, the GAN angles and GAN fans do not work properly on any charting package, except one that I know of. And that's because the charts must square. The chart, he was drawing his charts on graph paper. GAN is very hard to figure out because he made it kind of cryptic to figure him out. It basically took work. Some people like it, some people have gotten little ideas, and it's never worked for them. Well, most people are lazy. It took time for me to go through that course. You have to read every page and go on the chart and try and figure it out. If you're willing to do, I was willing to do that. I was in love with it. I just was fascinated with it. Now, the other thing that people do when they get into GAN is they go very esoteric. They get into the planets and astrology and all this sort of thing. GAN was not an astrologist. This is people's spin on it because they saw notes of Sagittarius and that sort of thing on his chart. That's not what he was doing. It was more of the math of the planets and the cycles. The planets are being studied right now by certain people in NASA to where they're studying and going back over the history of when certain planets were in alignment that we end up having earthquakes, and they're honing it. I can take here on any chart and show you when certain planets come into conjunction. At that time, you'll see a change in trend, and I'll be able to show it to you. It's not that big of a deal to see that, but I don't even use that, okay? So, but this is what happens. They don't know where to fib from. They don't know what line it's going to stop. They're using the angles. Your chart doesn't square, so it's not put on there properly. Either that, and then they go way esoteric, and they miss the stuff that's been hiding right in plain sight the whole time that they've been trying to figure it out, if they've got what it takes to go figure it out. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you a trade setup that I developed that we do every day. Now, I like to spend most of my time on charts instead of just teaching you and talking here. I just like to introduce myself, show you my background, talk about GAN a little bit, and then I like to just spend time and time again on charts. I'm going to show you trades that we did in the last day or so. I'm going to show you trade I still have on. You're going to see some winners. You're going to see some losers. You're going to see some setups. And later on, I'm going to let you challenge the market or challenge it, because the reason I say that is because every webinar that you've gone to, you need to understand, they show you when the trade worked. They show you a setup, and they show you the little lines crossing or lights flashing or the indicator that they've developed work. And you get it, you buy it, and it doesn't work. A lot of you have been down that road before. I'd be willing to bet. Have you? You guys have probably all purchased something, been promised the moon and stars, and so on and so forth. Well, I'm going to let you challenge it and pick a market, pick a time frame. And I do this because I don't want you to think that I just have some canned presentation. I'm just going to show you the trades that we've done, the most recent. I can go back as far as I have data. You're more than welcome to take me back there, and I'll do it. And you pick the market. It works in everything. As I said in the literature that we sent out, the little of what you're going to be learning tonight. The basics of squaring price and time, the answer to that, for those of you that do not know, is it's basically when price and time meet. Okay? It's on the square. When he drew a square and a triangle and he was drawing it in and around a circle, that was his calculator. When Gann was doing this, he didn't have a calculator back then. Okay? They didn't have computers and all this stuff. So as I go through this, this is what I want you to do. I want you to see, okay, the accuracy of this when I integrate the two together of using Fibonacci and time. And what I've done is I've taken and put Gann squaring of price and time into point and click. You're not going to have to learn Gann. I'm not going to teach you Gann tonight. We don't have the time. For those of you that take the course and do the course, I teach everything about Gann. I teach you how it all works, where it comes from, and more importantly, a methodology that truly works. And in my trade room, we trade real money. You know, a little bit. For this, I want you to see the accuracy of it, the power move that comes from this. Gann talked about big time about when the move's going to come. And then probably one of the most important is I want you to see how the winners are bigger than the losers by 4 to 1. Now, the problem, I'm going to stop right here for a second. How many of you are, give me your time frames that you're trading off of. What time frame do you guys trade off of? 5 minute, 10 minute? Trade, Phil, you trade off a day. Okay, good. All right. 15 minute. Okay. All right. 2, 8, 16. Okay. Dave, why 8? Why 16? Curious. That's why I asked. Okay. Most of you are trading off a way too small a time frame. You're scalping. Stop it. It's death by 1,000 cuts. Scalping comes from the pit. It comes from getting the edge. It comes from arbitraging in the pit, the discrepancy between the markets, the cash S&P or the big S&P against the mini S&P. The cash S&P will be at 1,200. The mini S&P will be at 11.99 and a quarter. There's a difference of 3/4 points there, and you can buy and sell the other one. Boom, boom, boom. They'll do it on the pit, and they'll do it on a guy with a headset on the computer screen, and they'll take that difference quick. That's why the floors are going away, because of computer algorithms that are automatically, when that happens, it hits it. And it's now become a machine against a machine war is what's happening. Also, scalping in the pit comes from the brokers and institutional paper that needs to get the position off. Big lots. Could be Bank of America, could be Goldman Sachs. They got a 10,000 lot, whatever comes in there. They give the guys in the pit a few ticks. They're getting free money. That's the edge. That's where scalping comes from. The biggest part about scalping and why it's death by 1,000 cuts is because you're never going to get your winners bigger than your losers. It's the only way. You do not have a methodology to do that. And you have not trained on a methodology or tested a methodology where you can get your winners bigger than your losers. 98% of there's a sign in the board on the 10-year pit, the Board of Trade says, fear and greed are the only two emotions, the rest is BS. 98% of the time, you're going to trade from fear while you're in it. 98% of the time, you're going to trade from greed while you're trying to set the trade up. You're going to be thinking about the money you can make, oh, my account, what I could do this, all that sort of thing. And the second you get ready to enter, you're scared. And this fear is going to raise its ugly head a bunch of different ways. But you cannot get your winners bigger than your losers. And an average, mine are 4-to-1 by running this setup. And it's partly because your losers are this way, is because you're trading off a too small a time frame, and you cannot catch the move. You just haven't seen it or done it or learned it. It's okay. Now, as I go through this, this is what I want you to ask yourself. Your mindset should be this: does this actually work? Is it doing what I'm saying it's going to do? Does it call out where the market turn is going to be? Now, it's not going to call out every turn. I'm not going to do that. It's when I get this to happen, I trade. The reason I'm telling you to have your mindset correct when you're going through this is you're not going to understand everything. I'm going to do an after session later where I'll take more questions, and we can, in my own trade room, which I run every day, okay? And you can ask a lot more detailed questions. You're not going to understand everything. That's what the trading course is designed to do, and you're not supposed to understand it all, okay? So, and then later, I'm going to let you challenge it. You're going to pick any market, any time frame, okay? So now, here's what I'm going to do. Let me know. I'm going to just dive into charts, and you let me know if you can see my charts. Okay. I'm going to start with the E-mini S&P. Let me pull it up here. Can you guys see my chart? Okay. Okay, good. This is the E-mini S&P. Primarily what I'm setting a trade up on is a monthly, weekly, and daily chart. I'm going to show you a monthly trade setup that's 87% correct. You're going to get 15 of them per market. See, I believe in doing one thing in all markets, not trading one market and doing everything in it. Okay? I'm looking for the highest probability setup, and I'm scanning at any one time. It's easy to do once I teach you. At any one time, 20, 30 different markets. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is the tools that I developed, the squaring price and time, I'm going to show you and show you how they work for now. They hook up right up to Ninja, and they hook right up to Trade Navigator. Okay? They go right on your dashboard. Now, it's being built in TradeStation now. It's being also built in a couple other ones. Now, these are them right here up at the top. There's an SR tool, a 1S tool, and a 2S tool. Now, I'm not going to have time to show you tonight every single one. Maybe in the after session I'll show you a couple, the other ways of scoring. I'm going to teach you every way of scoring price and time. It's a lot simpler than you think. You don't have to do it. You don't have to learn all that. I'm primarily going to use the 1S tool, all right? And I'm going to demonstrate and explain something to you here real quick when you see this doing this. Okay, you basically click on it. You can square price and time in 3 seconds. I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to drag this out, okay? Now, it's going to print out numbers, okay? If it doesn't print out numbers, it did not square price and time. If it does, it squared price and time. It doesn't matter what the numbers are. I teach you that in the course. Just know that the TB stands for trading bars, and if it says CD, it stands for calendar days. That's the time. Dash R, R stands for range. You might see a price 1 there or a price 2, and I'll explain that as I go. That's it. Simple. Now, when it prints out the numbers, means it's going to go the opposite way. That's what it means. I'm going to put it, you're just not going to know where to do it from. There's a couple different spots. This is extremely simple to do. Trading is the hard part. Okay? So I'm going to draw this and drag it. It's going to print out different numbers. Okay? If it doesn't print, we don't trade. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you, I'm going to click, and I'm going to click, say, on a high. And I'm always going with trend, okay? And I'm going to click and lock onto the high of a bar. or a low of a bar, okay? Just so you see what I'm doing. Now, I want to go down through this market. Oops, a little quick. And I want to show you how we squared on this monthly chart. The actual low of today. And I'm going to show you how we squared crude. I'm going to show you how I squared Forex. It simply does not matter. Okay, now I've got to make the multiplier correct because I have to change it and make sure it's correct because I have to change it for Forex because there's so many decimal places. And I'm going to check this low. Okay, what you do is I am squaring price and time with trend. I will not trade against trend unless it's on a smaller time frame, and like an 8-minute, and I take targets off of that, and that's it, and that's pretty much when I'm bored. It's very rare. Okay, so this is what's called a hot zone. It's anything past the 50% retracement, which is the first line. It doesn't have to stay in this 2 orange lines. The hot zone is the 50% all the way to the current low. It just has to get to the 50%. Any of you that are using a 25% retracement or a 32% or 38% retracement, get rid of it. There's no real value to it. It's not where the move's going to come. It might bounce off of it perfect and you can scalp it and you'll see that, but it's not where the move's going to come. It's with trend. Now what I tested over 80 years of data is this. The market is going to constantly do this, and I did this since the cash Dow, it was cash S&P and cash Dow all the way back to 1902. You're going to come in here to what's called a hot zone. Everything is swing theory, guys. Everything. It's very, very simple once you see it. Most of my students get amazed about this. For the rest of your life, this is what you should live by. It's higher highs and higher lows. You've all heard that before. The trend is your friend, right? Have you guys all heard trend is your friend? That's not a little saying. That's a real thing, real life breathing thing, okay? But none of you can show me that when it's happening. I've had one person, and it was Art, and he's a position trader, and he's in my room every day. The second that you break a swing, you must assume that's where trend is going. Stop picking tops, stop picking bottoms. It's not where the momentum is. It's not where the herd's at. The second that you break a swing the other way, whoops, this pen is driving me crazy. I don't know why it's doing that. The second that I break a swing in the opposite direction, I must assume trend has changed. Okay. Second that I get, so the rest of this chart is over, guys. It's over with. You cannot get stuck, your mind's eye cannot get stuck in the fact that the dominating trend over here is down. That's over with. Now we're in an uptrend. And if it breaks a swing to the downside, I'm immediately assuming trend is down. So every time you break a swing, I'm going to give you an 80% edge right now. You break a swing and you get a pullback into the hot zone. Depending on the market, and I tested this, the cash Dow and the S&P, 82% of the time you're going to go back to this 20% retracement. You go look at it, you go test it. You have to figure out a way to enter. You go look at that every time it breaks a swing on the daily bar. So this is what the market's doing, and it's done it since the dawn of time. It's going to break a swing right here. It's going to pull back into the hot zone, and it's going to go to the extension. Okay? It's going to, now we broke, whoops, let me get that off of there. Let me add this. It's going to break a swing right there, and it's going to go, and it's going to pull back right here. I'll put another one on there, and it's going to go to the extension. Why does it go right to it? Why does it go right to it and chop out? Look out axis support and resistance. You go look at it. You go look at it on a daily bar. This is a monthly bar. I'm going to show you how to square price and time because this is huge. I want you to see how accurate this is. So here we are. We broke that swing right there. It now pulls back. Does it enter the hot zone? And the answer is yes. So when it gets to the hot zone, I'm now going to square price and time. I'm going to click on the 1S tool, and I'm going to go from the different spots to see if I get a readout, and I don't. I'm going to go, you can just click and drag it, and it now squares price and time. It's telling me that is a high probability of it being the low. Okay? Now, that's a monthly chart. I'm going to mark it. So you can see I'm going to do this so you can see it. I'm going to make this hot pink so it stands out. Okay? I'm going to mark that low. That is on the low. Okay? This is what it looks like on a daily bar. Now, I have the green square on there, and that's a little note that we put on the chart for monthly squarings. Blues are going to be dailies. So that's the low that it called on the daily bar, the exact low. What I'm then going to do, this is how simple this is. We do it every day in the room. I'm going to square off a monthly, weekly, or daily, and then I'm going to go to the 8-minute for entry. And I'm going to square price and time use it to get in. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to do it right here. Okay? This is daily. Now here's the 8-minute. Okay? Again, the power and the strength of the move. This was against trend on the daily. It's the only time that I'll trade against trend is off the monthly squaring. Okay, there's the squaring on that low, and I want you to see how it turns and rocket up. Okay, entry, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm waiting for a swing break, and there it is. It's the first swing break out. We actually broke two. We broke that one. I have squaring, the trend's up. I broke two swings, and now I'm going to start looking for squaring of price and time. You just need to know where to do it from. Hot zone retracement. Right there. Notice how it goes up here to the extensions, right? I'm taking targets off. I'm taking entry off the 8-minute. I can come in here and I can do this. I can go in. This is how simple it is. That squares price and time. The next bar starts, or you want to call it the bar that squared closes, however you want. I'm going to enter, and I'm going to put my stop down here, right underneath the next fib line. Okay? And my target is going to be the retracement on the daily. Okay? And we're into it right now. And we're going to look to square it because we're getting another setup to the downside, and I got to check that tonight and see if it squares. So that is the target, the orange line. Guys in the room have taken some off already, so on and so forth. And there's specific rules to it, and you'll see. It's a complete trade setup. And you stick to this. You stick to it. The guys who listen do well. Guys who don't, another guy in my room today, he's been with me 4 months. He's doing these pivots and this stuff, and he's scalping crude, and he's doing it. Just don't listen sometimes. You sit here and watch us do this all day, and not to do it is crazy. Now, first target, I'm risking $175. Okay? There's your first target. Okay? It's also a bunch of garbage that you need a big account to trade. You don't at all. Perfect setup. You want to see crude? Who trades crude? Throw markets at me. I'll do it now. Doesn't matter. That's how it works. Bigger time frame, small time frame, I square price and time on both. I get in, I have targets. I don't have time to teach you the complete, why and where I'm doing it from. You notice I'm doing it from lows to lows. Guys, watch this. Here. I can square price and time on this 8-minute chart. Let me make it a little bigger so I can get my tool on there. It's easier to see. As long as it's with trend, I can square price and time and see if it's square. Did it square there? Nope. Did it square there? Nope. I'm just going to start from this one spot. There's other spots that do it from. I'm squaring all the retracements. Squaring all the retracements. Okay. Now I did that from what's called the source. You can do it from what's called its inner space. Probably teaching a little too much. And see if it squares. Doesn't square there, so there will be no entry. I'm going to show you. You can do this just so I have guys that do this square price and time, and now you got plenty of time to get in this. There's 2 already. If I check every one, there's more. I can check a few more. See, I don't like that one. It's kind of a mess. I'll use this one. See if we square here. There, the exact low again. Trading bars in the range. Squares. It's basically the amount of time, the amount of bars, that is squaring price and time at the range. I'll teach you the math in the course, all that sort of thing, and the other ways of squaring. I'm not going to get into that. I want you to see that it's calling the accuracy, that it's calling out the turns. This alone, if you did take the daily target, this alone right here, just taking the targets off of this, we entered there, that was the first squaring, and took that target. Great, great trade. Now you're waiting. There, we had this one. Right there. That squared price and time, that bar closed, I put my stop, and I ride it right up in here to the extensions. Look what it does. It's going to go there. It's got to go there. Actually, even plowed right through it. That's what it's going to do. It's going to run that mathematical rhythm. It's the exact same thing, Heinz. They're the exact same tools. They do the exact same. I used TradeNav, used it for 11 or 12 years. So you can see how that squares all the way up through there. Okay? I'll do crude oil. That's the E-mini S&P. I know you guys are a lot of you are E-mini S&P guys, which is fine. We do everything. I mean, you'll see us trade coffee, see us trade sugar. When I won't trade the Russell, I hate it. It squares price and time, but it's not. That market's probably going to be going away anyway. Okay. This is crude oil. Now watch. This is a monthly chart. Okay? See that? Now I'm going to show you a daily setup. You should be looking to get long on crude. That squares price and time. Right there. I'll mark it. That's the exact high. I don't trade crude much. I trade mostly Forex. It's a better bang for the buck. It's where I trade a lot of my client money. I can scale a lot of positions. Anybody foreign? Yeah, Forex. That's my favorite, Philip. I'm going to show you trades I did in that today. I even have a couple on right now. And I'll show you what I did in the since end of August. Okay. Now, that squares monthly. I'm going to go to daily so you can see it. Let me get this off of here. Okay, that's the exact right there that said it squared price and time perfectly. Now I'm going to go to 8 minute and let me go show you where that's at. The thing that you're going to have a challenge with in the beginning that I've got to work out of you is getting comfortable holding on to the trade and believing in the targets and getting used to doing that. You can train and do anything if you do it enough, because a lot of you have been trading off of these small time frames and it's a nervous trading. You're worried about it coming back on you and all this sort of thing. Trust and believe in it, and I'll train you on it. You're actually going to get trained. It's part of my course. I'll go over that with you later. Okay? But because there's, like I say, you're going to trade from fear, guys. You're even going to trade from fear when you're in a bigger winner, the fear of giving it back. Okay? And we're going to work through that so you can catch things like this. So watch here. That's where it's squared. This is an 8 minute. Here's where it's squared. I drew the green box for everybody in the room so we know what it's kind of our little note on the screen. That's where I drew the purple line. It broke a swing right there, and so now we're looking right there. And that's where the bar squared price and time. And I'm going to ride it back in to the retracements. Here's the bar. If I go too fast, I'll slow down. You guys will get a lot of it later. Okay? It went right into the, which is coming in to our daily setup, because we're assuming trend has changed because it broke that swing. So I'm going to be buying the dips, buying all the pullbacks until that changes swings again. And I'm going to stick with that. Trust me, guys, I did it over 80 years. I'm telling you. You want to follow swing theory. If there's one thing you get out of here tonight, because I know there's some of you in here that like to go to these things and maybe learn something for free. I understand that. That's okay. Swing theory, swing theory, swing theory, swing theory. Period. So this is the daily. So look how it came right back into the hot zone here. It squared monthly, came into the hot zone daily. Okay? Now what? Now watch this. This is the 8 minute. It squared price and time there. There's other squarings of price and time. I have to remember where they were. Yeah, I remember that one. There's another one over here. It's giving you time to get in it. That bar closes, this bar closes, you risk the swing, you can get in, and again, the winners are bigger than losers. You're in here risking this, the $300, and you rode it all the way down, at least to the first retracement, let's say. Winners are bigger. It's the only way you're going to get yourself to take every trade. The thing that costs you guys the most money, I'm assuming you're past all the stupid stuff. Adding to losers, having a methodology where the losers are bigger, all that sort of stuff, all that dumb stuff. If you're not past that, then don't take the course yet. So I want you at least past that before I spend time with you. I don't want to have to do all that. Okay, winners are bigger. Okay. Now there's rules to getting out and all that sort of thing. But here's what I want you to see. We came into this hot zone. And so now I'm on the daily bar back here, and I'm going to square price and time. You should be looking to get long crude right now. Right now. And I got to remember where it's squared because we did it today. I'm doing so many markets, guys, that I can't remember them all. And it takes 3 seconds to square price and time, so I don't keep them up there because I've got so many flying around. I'd rather just redo it and leave a box on there. It squares price and time right there in the hot zone once you follow the rules and follow the rules. It's on paper. I train you on it like a Navy SEAL. You're going to be able to get trained here, not a video and just a little, webinar and all that sort of thing. There's videos. We train one-on-one. I boot camp you. You're going to do examples. I'm going to make sure you have it down. You're going to have full access to me for a year. I'll get into that in a little bit. Okay, so right there we square price and time. And I'm talking fast because of time here. Okay, there's the line. I'm going to get rid of these. This squaring's over because I'm coming into a new squaring. And I'll go to an 8 minute. And again, I don't trade crude much. I'm going to show you a couple Forex examples here in a minute. So did we break a swing? We're starting to break swings. Okay? We're starting to break swings. So we should be looking to get long. Okay? So I'm going to grab the tool. I'm going to click on the 1S tool. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to look to square price and time. And it squares, bang, you're out and running again. It's that simple. Okay? Here's another squaring tool I'll show you. It's extremely, extremely simple. It's powerful. You're going to learn GAN without having to figure them out. I'm telling you guys, squaring price and time and using Fibonacci is so powerful. Let me get rid of that, make it smaller. I'm going to show you a two-swing tool that you can use here. I'll use it on a daily. It'll be a little cleaner. All right, I'll use the 2S tool. It's the same thing. Click on the 2S. It works the exact same way. I click, I scroll it up, and now I can do two swings. So now I'm going to square price and time with this swing. Okay, let me make sure the multiplier is right because I might have it set on 4x. Nope, it's right. This is how simple these are. And I'm going to scan and look for squaring. If it doesn't square, I don't trade it. Squares price and time. Whoops, went a little quick. It actually squared that bar also. Squares price and time. Calls out the low. Now, I'll go to that day. If I don't have the data, what's the day? I'm going to show you, again, the power and the strength of the move. Look at the move. It closes, that day closes higher. The next day closes higher. It goes right back to the target, the highs, and then comes off. Calls it out perfectly. What's the day? 10-8. If I don't have the data, I'll load it. To take that off. I might have to load more. Maybe not. Might be able to get away with it. I keep the intraday on the charts down to a minimum because I'm running so many different markets and I don't want it to bog it down. You know, if you don't have a trading computer, go get one if you're serious about trading. Okay, here's where it squares price and time right there. And does it start to break swings? Yes, it does. Breaks swings right there. I'll draw that. It's right there. First swing start to break. Right out of there. Now I'm going to grab the 1S or the 2S and I'm going to start to square and try and catch the move in a hot zone. Right there. Squares. It's got to be in a hot zone, guys. That's the rule. Comes into the hot zone perfect. It squares. That's what it does. And you ride it right up to the targets. This probably squared. Look at the move, guys. Look at the symmetry in the moves. Every move I've done where it squares, this is where the momentum starts. This is where the players come in. Oh, can't get it quite on that bar. Nope, didn't square. Squares there again. Do I get stopped out? Yes. But you got to do it in the right spots and when to do it. The other squarings of price and time, it's very rare that it doesn't respect a squaring of price and time. It's just it might be short term. I'm in it for the move. Got to get the winners bigger. I follow my back test. I believe in it. I do it. That's what I do. And we do that over and over and over again. When you're bored as a trader, you've crossed over. And that's a big question. I can't see it. Barry, how do I make the questions thing? Trading, oh, there it is. Trading, TB equals trading bars, R equals range. Okay, it's going to respect squaring price time, but it might be a short-term scalp. Okay, it's about where the move's coming. You're welcome, Heinz. Gann said this, every swing in the market can be calculated to squaring a price and time. Not every squaring works, but every swing. I actually did this with the guys of squaring the range this whole year. How we called, watch, I'll show you this other tool, and then I'll get into a couple other things. I'll show Forex later. This is an SR tool, and we got it set right for Forex. Take that off. Make it easier to see. All right, this is what's called squaring the range. Watch this. I'm going to come down on this range, and it's going to tell me when it's likely to turn on what day. Now, I had this tool built to where you could do this and square that range and just basically put the lines and the dates on at the bottom. You can see that. My chart's big enough for you guys. Do you need them wider or bigger? Because I don't know how you can see them sometimes. So it's going to give me this date that it's a possible nice turning point. And it is. There it is. Right on a fib hot zone, right there, bang. Now watch what I do. Watch, I'm going to go right down through these right here. It's going to call this out right here, see that? It's going to call that high out. Watch. We went through this for a year and a half in the room when it was slow one day. I was showing them, and we called every swing, including this chop area. It called all this chop because of all these swings and calculations were lining up to this area, and they were fighting each other, and then it had to come out of there. It was cool. You'll learn it. You'll learn it. It's easier than you think. Watch. It's actually off of that bar right there. You see it calling out that high, and I'd go in there and square price and time. It's actually calling out both, that low and that high. So I'll change it, and then I'd come in, and you're going to, once I have that, it's what's called a pressure date, and I'd square price and time to those on those dates. You're basically adding fuel to the fire here. Fuel to the fire. And you'll learn the spots to square price and time from. It's squared price and time perfectly. And I'd find this high. I'm going to teach you what swings to go from, what you're going to do. Gann called them the energy points. There it squares. That's all a chart is. It's not fundamentals, it's energy. Watch, I'll come right down through. Watch it call out this low. This actually squared on monthly right here too. Watch it call out that low. See that? It's awesome. So simple to do. You just have to train yourself to do it. It's going to call out this high. I'm just showing you how the tools work. Teach you how to trade later. It's calling out that high and low again. Look how it did that. Called out that low, which is in a hot zone. It's perfectly in a hot zone. Right there. And it runs back to the targets. And squares price and time. I'm not going to do it. I want to get to other things. We're running out of time here. Now watch it call out this low. We did this. It's awesome how it works. It's going to call out this low right there perfectly. It's the math, guys. Guys are into Fibonacci timing, and you're looking for clusters and all that, you know. You're overworking, you're into indicators, all sorts of stuff. The last price, how do you want me to show it to you on the last price? I don't quite understand your question. Calls out that high. And here, you can write this down, and you go write this date down and see when we're going to have a turn. 11/30/2012. Should be another turn. Good. This is like throwing gasoline on a fire. Squaring a price and time is you're starting a fire. Then your pressure dates and cycle dates, it's just adding oomph to it. No, charts, you don't need the charts to square. You only need the charts to square, Dave, for the angles. And he only drew the angles on the chart, which is known as the GAN-fan. It's on every charting package. He said it in his work. You only draw the angles so you don't make a mathematical error. He didn't have a computer. He was doing everything by hand. And if you draw the angle on the chart, because the chart squared, it was Guerriere. I have his old charts. It looked like this. And on what scale it was, a monthly, weekly, whatever the case may be, he would draw this on here. You know, he had graph paper. You don't need to square the chart. You have a computer. And it would look like this. You know, it's perfectly scaled graph paper, just like you had in high school, right? Now I'm just doing a quick version, but you get the idea. And it would look like this. It's pretty close. And so he would draw the 1-to-1 angle or the 2-to-1 angle, and it would run. See how that's running through the intersections there? You see that? That's why he did it. And if you drew it, if I drew that on there like that, and drew, this is what he's saying. If I drew the angle on there wrong, it's not running through the intersections, then I'd catch it. It's a simpler and faster way to do it because he didn't have a computer. And then what he would do is he'd run the 90-degree angle, right? So he'd be doing, you know, he'd be doing that and running through intersections. It looks like a GAN fan, doesn't it? This is what he's doing. And so when it would come into the angles, he'd be squaring price and time with all his different ways. That's what the angles are for. You do not need to square the chart. And yes, it works on every time frame. I just did a bunch of examples on 8-minute, 30-minute, whatever you want. Do it on. I suggest you do it my way, and then learn the trade setup. But you can do it however you want. It works the same. Just know that if you choose to do it against trend, it's probably going to be a much short-term trade. It's going to work, but you're going to have to design your own rules around it. I'm in it for the move. So that's crude oil. I've got like 6 minutes. And then what I'll do is I'm going to have an after session. Okay, I can make you guys a special offer on it. Okay, I'm going to show you other trades that we actually took. I'll do Forex. I'll let you pick any market. If you have a headset, plug it in. You can ask questions. I call my trade room the locker room. I played college football, played competitive sports since I was a kid. Call it the locker room because we actually talk and we tell it the way it is. It's not a chat room. It's not anything. Guys are in there. You know, I really don't let you in until you're trained because we're in there trading. And that's what we're doing. Guys are in there trading real money. It's not a big community. It's for the serious traders. You're not going to see a million people coming in there looking for, you know, doing this and doing that and ask, you know, all that sort of thing. I call it the locker room because I tell it the way it is. Like today with the gentleman, you know, it's his 4th time, he wouldn't listen. I said, man, why don't you just pull out the checklist and follow it? That's what it's designed for. I just tell you the way it is. Look, you go to a doctor and you tell him, Doc, it hurts when I move my arm like this. What's the doc say? Well, don't do that. Well, don't do that. Does that work? Just don't do it. Change. Simple. It's just you're going to nickel and dime your money away. No, they're not Helsinki bars. They're just regular bars. Don't use Helsinki bars. Don't use any of that stuff. Just square price and time. It's an adaptive moving average running in there, and I use that on a range chart for a little quick entry, another little trade setup. It's another way of entering, and I use it for equities and crude, and that's about it. It's a completely different map. That's the only thing that's running in there. Okay, now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you. I'm going to get into the rest of the presentation. Again, simple price time in a few minutes, guys. When you take the course and you start to train, you're gonna it, number one, you're gonna see your account grow, and I'm gonna show you that here. I forgot to show you that here. I'm gonna show you since I'll just show you from July here. This is what I started with. Okay. Now, I basically had my account with PFG, okay, and was trading right along and so on and so forth. And if you guys have heard anything about all the different accounts, we've had to put more money, do all that sort of thing. So if you want to go look at the date, this is one about when PFG went out of business. So I've started again, 10,000, and here's what I've done since then to this date. And you can go right down through here. Look at the winners and the losers, right on down through here. Okay. And this is the total of where we're at. Whoops, a little too quick. Right there. I got a couple little trades running now that are running. I'm down, banging around. I'm down 20 bucks and up 10 on another part of it. I have two little positions on and nothing. It's an against the trend. So the balance now is 32,000. I'll show you client money. There's a couple $100 grand in it. You can see that. I'm not going to go over all their trade and all that. It's none of your, you know, that'd be unprofessional. You get to see that. You get back to the presentation here. And I'll show you more of that later in the after session. Anything that I show you guys works, okay? And I'll back it up and show it to you. I don't mean that cockily or arrogantly. I know what you guys are going through and the stuff that you've tried to do. You're out there trying to really make a living in trading, and it's hard. This is what I do. I do the elite course. In my opinion, there's no better value out there for what you're getting. There's software out there that for more than this, okay? I do an online boot camp with you. We're going to go through everything. Everything. It's going to be a full-blown boot camp on squaring a price and time, on the trade setup, everything. I have ongoing workshops that are free for you to attend for a year. Okay? I want to make you a better trader. I'm going to train you. You need some time, and you need someone to coach you instead of just buying something and you're left with a manual, and then you got to go figure it out on your own. Look, when I played ball, last I checked, when the game's going on, my coach was standing over there. Okay? You're going to get all the training videos that go through. They're yours to keep on every piece of the setup. And I go through years of data and example after example, and you can watch it. And any new videos that I do, I'm always doing new setups and whatnot and sending them out. Okay? You're going to have access to me for a year. Meaning you've got a question. You call me, you set up an appointment, we get in my trade room, we review it. We go over it. It's students, some students have done it 7 times, some have done it 20. Yeah, it's boot camp. It's a typo. I apologize. Thank you. You're going to do 5 one-on-one trainings with me. They're going to be private. Okay? You're going to get all the tools. They plug right into them. So you're getting the software tools. You're going to get trained. I'm going to go over market structure. I'm going to go over, I'm going to literally walk you through my back test over 80 years. I'm going to raise your belief about this. Okay? I'm going to show you a trade setup that works. You can have confidence when you sit down. Look, this is what I tell everybody, and my students will contest this, and I can give you students' phone numbers that are more than welcome to take your call. And I'm going to give you ones that are trading real money, and they'll tell you how much time I put in. They'll tell you how profitable they are, and you can actually just go ahead and talk to them. Okay? What you're going to do here is I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to train you from the ground floor, and you're going to have this down. Okay? I'm going to teach you how to square price and time. I'm going to teach you how to use the 1 swing, the 2 swing. We're going to square the range. I'm going to use time by degrees. You're going to learn every facet. I'm going to walk you through my back test of 80 years, and you're going to see it. I'm going to show you what I did from start to finish. Yeah, I'm a little crazy. I did it by hand. I did it by hand. I train, guys. I know how to hone technique, and I repetition, 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 and you're going to have it down. I'm going to teach you the rules to the stops, the rules to the trailing stops, all the targets, and then we're going to lay out a complete trade plan that fits you, and you're going to stick to it, and I'm going to hold you accountable to it. Okay? You're going to be coached on it, all the psychology on it. Look, all the psychology books out there, this is another thing. All the psychology books out there, that's great. You should read them. You're trying to get better. I understand that. But it's about how you feel when you're in a trade. Minimum, I mean, you really need to trade one lots, minimum to start. So if you want to trade futures, I don't know, you need what? I don't even know what it is anymore. I don't ever ask that. I don't need to, but it's, you know, Forex, you can do $1,000, even less than that. So, I mean, go buy an E-mini S&P, guys. Help out here. What is a E-mini S&P to trade a one lot for day trading? 500 bucks. They let you, got to have $1,000 in there, 800 bucks, whatever it is. All that sort of thing. So that's the elite, and I call it elite because I study Navy SEALs. I love Navy SEALs and snipers. They're a rare bunch. Average risk, it depends on the setup. It depends on the measurement. I'd say 150 bucks, 200 bucks. Even if it's more than you're comfortable with for the account that you have, you just don't take it. That's all. Yeah, per contract. But you got to understand, the winners are huge. You guys are trying to scalp. I know what you're doing. You're trying to risk 50 bucks, and you're in the order book, and you're trying to be right, and all that sort of thing. Good luck. Good luck. It's death by 1,000 cuts. I'm telling you. Got to get on a bigger time frame. Got to. At least for direction. You go to the small time frame for entry. Again, it's going to take time. So again, boot camp or war camp. I study Navy SEALs. Those guys train and train and train and train and train and train and train. Okay? There's no end to it. No end to it. And they're disciplined. But they train and they're elite. Okay? So here's what I'm going to do. This is how to do in my trade room, then I'll start up for an after session. Have a headset. Do not log in with your phone, please. Log in with your computer, even if you don't have a headset. No, Lila, we take the risk off the 8-minute. I'll show you more later. No, you don't. It's not bigger risk. Everyone thinks that. It's not bigger risk because you're trading off the daily. We're taking targets and direction off the daily. We're taking the risk off a small time frame. Small time frame. So here's what you're going to do. You can go to the GANNacciCode.com. On the home page, there's a tab over to the right. It's a white tab. It says Locker Room. It's a white banner. You're going to click on it. It's very simple. It's a WebEx room. It's going to ask you probably to download something real quick. It's going to take a couple seconds. Okay? It's easy. You're going to put in your basic information, your name, email, etc. Log in with your computer, not your phone. If I see you on with the phone, because they charge an arm and a leg for it, I'll nicely, so you understand I'm not being rude, I'm going to just, you know, edit you from the room and you can log back in. Okay? The password's going to be trader. Down over in the bottom, you'll see a button that says click join. And I'll start the room. You can ask as many questions. Get on your headset. For those of you who don't have a headset, there's a chat button that you can click on up at the top, and you can chat me, and I can go right through anything and everything you guys want to do. Okay. That's pretty simple. I'll leave that up for a second, and then I can answer all your questions later in the room for those of you that are serious, and I'll show you I always make everyone a special offer at the end, so it's really my time, guys. It's not Dr. Shaw, who's one of my students and one of the guys who trades. He's part of the Denver Trading Group. He has been and seen everything in the last 13 years, and he'll tell you that this is way undercharging. It's my time. That's really what it is. Time. You're getting me for a year, access to me, and I'm going to train you and work. Look, you're going to have a psychological issue somewhere, and I'm going to beat it up like a dead horse, and we're going to get it out of you. I'm going to make you better. Make you better. I tell everyone this. I tell you this. I tell all my students this. They hear me say it, probably a couple times a week. This is yours to screw up. You train to ingrain, and then a professional money manager's mindset. All your goals and dreams financially come down to you basically trading a 2-lot. That's it. That's it. And I'll show you a money management program, how you can be 50% right, which we're way more than 50% right, and risk less than 2.5% in 36 months, where you're making $500,000 a year. But you got to take every trade. I'll show it to you. It's what the guys in the room are trying to do. They're working out kinks, and they're getting better, and they do stuff. If you're a trader, it's okay. So that's how you get in the WebEx room. I'm going to start it up right now. I'm running a couple minutes over. And there's my email, nick@GANNacci.com. I have a very simple website. It's not a big sales website. It's cut, dry, and I'm going to start putting more, videos and that sort of thing on it. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I'm going to start my WebEx room, and I'll see all of you guys in there in a couple minutes. And we'll go from there. Again, log in with your headset. It'll be a little thing, say log in with your computer, have your headset on, and you can actually talk and ask questions and all that sort of thing. You can challenge it, mark it, see whatever you need to see. So that's pretty much it. And I'm going to mute myself. For those of you that can't attend the rest of tonight, email me if you want to talk further. Call me. There's no sales team here or anything. You get me directly. So I'll see those of you that are able to attend here in a little bit. So I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for coming, guys.